How many times have you heard the word personal branding and how important branding is when you're building your business? Well, it just so happens that here at Hyperfocus, that is exactly what we do. And we were thinking it'd be really cool to share with you 5 of the most important things that you need, the essentials to think about when building your brand. So number 1 is positioning, and positioning is really important and probably one of the first things that you should really be thinking about when building your brand. So positioning is kind of a loose term because it can mean many different things, but generally when we talk about positioning, we're talking about some kind of strategic...
Whoa. Hold on. That's a big topic, man. You sure you can cover this? Okay, I give you a little introduction. So first of all, what's really important is that you actually think about who is your product or your service for. Yeah, that's crucial. And it's not for everyone, okay? You have to be specific about that. Who is it for? And also, who are you competing with? Like, what's the market look like, and who you compete against? You need to differentiate yourself from the others. You know, just think about a shelf in a supermarket with cereals. You know, you have like 20 different kind of cereals, and your potential customer, you know, he needs a reason why he choose you and not the other one. Okay, so be very specific about for who your product is, and also think about look into your market, find your niche. Yeah, don't be a generalist, don't be for everyone. Be an expert in what you do. All right, go on, Paul.
Some kind of strategic thinking, and one of the things that you really need to be looking at is your mission, your vision, your purpose, and really finding out why you exist. So there's many tools that you can use to actually do this. And there's many resources that you can look into to start to run your own workshops, apply methods to try and discover really what the essentials are, what's at the core of your business. So we compiled a few different resources for you guys to actually jump into, and one of them is Simon Sinek's Golden Circle, so jump into that. I'm going to leave all the links in the description below for all of these resources, but basically Simon Sinek is the how, why and what guy. He will help you to kind of understand really your purpose, so definitely look into that. The next one would be the absolute classic from Marty Neumeier, which is the brand gap. Again, it's one of our favorites, but definitely if you're going on this journey of building a brand, it's a great introduction to understanding the kind of the foundations, the fundamentals of how to build your brand. So moving on to the next one, which would be tone of voice, TOV. And yeah, this is often underrated, and a lot of companies and businesses that we've worked with, and you can see this as well on the landscape of branding, don't often take this as seriously as they should do. And what is tone of voice? Well, tone of voice is basically how you show up. It's how you talk to your audience. It's the language that is used throughout all of your communication, especially within digital products. If you're building a digital service or a business online, it is super important. All those little nuances of language live inside all the different elements of the interaction. It really helps to form a holistic perspective, a holistic kind of feeling. It's this kind of gut connection that you have with a brand. It's make or break if you're going to actually fall in love with a brand and want to come back and interact with the brand time and time again. It forms brand loyalty. It's really the nuances that live in the buttons, in the headlines, in the copy. It's that level of engagement that really brings out a characteristic in your brand. So tone of voice is super important. Really, you need to decide from your mission, your vision, which we talked about earlier, whereabouts you're going to go. There's many different extremes. You can be showing up as a very conservative and very serious company, then your copy should reflect that. Or you could be showing up as a very fun and friendly business, then of course you need to be fun and friendly in your communication. And this will really resonate, and this will really help to connect with the people that you're trying to talk to. So we have a couple of really good examples. A channel favorite is MailChimp. It's a classic, so have a look at the tone of voice on MailChimp. You can get some really good insights on how to structure your tone of voice and really kind of understand how one of the probably pioneers in the industry, one of the best practices for a lot of people, really broke down their tone of voice. And it's all there, it's all documented for you guys to have a look. So definitely go have a look at MailChimp. Another really, really great best practice that many people head to, and we talk about it a lot, and lots of people in the industry do, is Headspace. Headspace is a great example of bringing character and personality into a brand, and on many levels Headspace works really, really great because it takes a subject that you might not be particularly interested in at first and makes it very accessible. It allows you to understand the product a lot easier. In this case, it's actually meditation. So it really shaped this brand and put it on a completely different level in the market, because of how it used its tone of voice and its language to be very, very expressive. So definitely go check out Headspace and use it as a best practice if you don't already know it. I'm probably sure that you do, but it's one that we definitely want to put on the list. The next one, if you want to find a really nice platform where style guides and brand assets all come together, Duolingo is also something that you can have a look into. It's a very well put together living style guide / design system that documents tone of voice and many other things on there, but you really get a good feeling as soon as you start to interact with the brand what they stand for. The next one would be styling, and styling is really, I suppose, the beginning of, let's say, the fun part, the creative part of building a brand. Now, styling is really about making those decisions on how you're going to actually look when it comes to graphics and colors, typography, picture world, all the kind of elements that come together to really shape how you're going to build your website, how you're going to build your communication. And all these decisions can be made if you follow the steps previously. So setting up the initial positioning and looking at your mission, your vision, and your tone of voice, you really understand what kind of business you are. If you are, as I said previously, a fun-loving and crazy, optimistic brand, then your colours and your imagery are going to reflect that. In one of the earlier tasks with the brand sprint, you will be asked to decide using a slider on which extreme you see yourself, whether you're a rebel somewhat or you're very conservative. And depending on where you place yourself, you can really see what kind of colour palette you're going to be working towards. For example, fintechs, so fintech startups, tend to, which seems to be on trend, move towards using, let's say, a more of a stronger neon, bright green and grey colours. That's kind of synonymous and associated with that sector at the moment. And you can kind of see, if you're looking on the green scale of things, that if you're going to be loud and bold, then obviously neon green is the way to go. If you're going to be conservative and a little bit more serious, maybe you move that slider of green over to something a little bit more reduced, something like a forest green, for example. So you can see those two extremes live on both sides of your decision making. So styling is super important, and you can make those decisions based on some of the things that you covered in the previous parts of the workshops that you've already run for yourself. A couple of places to look, some obvious things from a designer's perspective, but maybe it's new to you, is jumping on platforms like Unsplash, where you can get royalty-free photography that you can use for your brand. Things like this would definitely help you to kind of somewhat look at the styling and also look at some of the competition, look at some of the best practice and try and get a feel for where your particular market actually sits. All right, the next thing, which is really important, all right, and I can't stress how important this is, but having some kind of living style guide, some kind of central point of truth where everything comes together. So everything that you have already collected lives in one place. This allows you to always be coherent, it allows you to be always up to date, and it gives you a place to be organized and structured as well, which ultimately will create consistency. If you are spreading the message and talking the language of your brand, and it's all there in one place on a living style guide on a website where you can download your logos, you can download your colors, you can also look at your mission, your vision, you can share that with everybody. It's always there. This will be part of your secret sauce to success. Gone are the days of having these standard kind of old-fashioned PDF guidelines, which many companies unfortunately still have. So get ahead of the curve and invest in having something that is tactile, tangible, and something that you can use. So that's a living style guide. Some good examples, some places that you can actually look for living style guides are companies like Frontify. For example, they also offer a free service for kind of small to medium sized companies. Obviously they will start to charge the more that you start to add onto the platform, but it's a really great starting point, and you can pretty much run a small scale business with the free program plan. So definitely check out Frontify or companies that are very similar, but Frontify is a good place to start. All right, last and definitely not least, but one of the things that I believe, or I am asked for more than anything, is the logo. And I'm just here to remind you that your logo is not your brand. A logo is, and this is why I've left it to the very end, because a logo is more of a personification of everything that you stand for. It's the flag that you fly. It's an iconic symbol that reflects all the things that you stand for, but it's not your brand. So you can have a really great logo, but everything else does not come together. It's not consistent. The story that you're trying to tell does not really fit together. It's somewhat disjointed. Your website doesn't work properly. Your tone of voice is off, and it just doesn't really fit with what you say it should be. That will definitely have an effect on your logo, because your logo is carrying all of those pieces that sit behind the brand. So this is why I left logo to the end, because you really have to get everything else right, up and running and making sense before you take that deep dive into designing that logo. There's many places to look for logo inspiration. I would recommend a website which is a little secret tip from us, which is Logo Book. You can get some inspiration there as well, depending on the type of logo that you're looking to create. A logo can be an icon or it can be a word mark. It's entirely up to you, depending on the business that you're running. Also, you could also have a look on the website Brand New as well. Brand New is a website that reviews brands and rebrands, so you can see the current trends of how brands are actually taking the logos from yesterday and translating those into a little bit more of a kind of modern look. So yeah, that just about wraps it up. Those are 5 tips for you guys to really think about when building your brand. So, as always, if you got this far, thank you very much, and I hope this was useful to you. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Like and share and comment below, and also look into the comments for all the resources that I've just given you today. And as always, we will see you in the next one. Peace. Let's get back to work.